Hi, today I'm going to review 4 comedy books: Gilbert Gottfried's Rubber Balls and Liquor, Norm Macdonald's Based on a True Story, Anthony Cumia's Permanently Suspended, and Sarah Silverman's The Bedwetter. I will also rank these books in order between least funny to the funniest. So let's get started. Out of the 4 books, on 4th place is Sarah Silverman's The Bedwetter. Not to say this isn't a good book, this is in fact a very enjoyable read. Now, over the years, Sarah Silverman's dumb political comments have turned me off of her comedy. That YouTube video of hers where she proposes that the Vatican should donate all their money to Africa is so dumb. It's as dumb as if Jonathan Swift had written his classic satirical essay Modest Proposal suggesting the poor in Ireland should eat babies and then writing at the end, "No, really." But what I'm saying is that Sarah Silverman's book was entertaining enough that she won me over. You read her book and you end up sympathizing with her life struggles. When adults lose their temper at her for wetting the bed as a little kid, when some of the SNL cast acts cold towards her, when she gets in trouble from Asians for making that Asian joke, or when everyone craps on her for designing an ugly dress for the Emmys, you end up rooting for her. To understand really is to forgive, and I realize that she's just a woman trying to make a living, like all of us. These women comedians and actresses in real life are not as tough or raunchy or confident as their on-screen persona. So you have to learn to sort of empathize. But back to the book. In the book, Sarah described a controversy she had. Okay, Sarah Silverman got in trouble back in 2001 for making a joke which used the word chink. She had a chance to defend herself in Bill Maher's TV show Politically Incorrect. I was motivated to look up the episode on YouTube, and it made me furious. Guy Aoki, who I guess is a Japanese civil rights activist, attacked Silverman very eloquently and ended up looking pretty good in the end. But the worst part, the most annoying part, was that present that day was actress Anne Marie Johnson, who couldn't virtue signal loud enough. She acted as Guy Aoki's wingman, ganging up and taking turns against Sarah Silverman. They were such a despisable, annoying pair of people. Not to mention, being a civil rights activist for Japanese Americans is the most useless, superfluous job in the world. But whatever. That made me furious, and I, sympathized with poor Sarah having to put up with that crap. Other than that, I found it interesting when, she mentioned Louis C.K. in her book a couple times. They were both around the same age and were good friends. I think they dated. I don't think she explicitly said they dated, but she did mention that Louis dated her sister, and later she told Howard Stern that she had seen Louis jerk off in front of her. So I don't know. But her sister, Laura Silverman, was hilarious in the TV show Home Movies. They both were hilarious in that TV show. Sarah Silverman also mentioned losing her virginity to Kevin Brennan. Like a personal tidbit, when I went to see Anthony Cumia live, I was sitting right next to Kevin Brennan. But I didn't have the courage to ask him about that incident. It would have been super awkward. I'm glad I didn't. But this book kept a pretty fun tone the whole time. But in terms of actually making me laugh, the only time I actually laughed was when she told that joke about her other sister, Susan. So she said that her sister Susan became a rabbi, and not only that, she married a guy named Yusef Abramowitz and moved to Israel. So Sarah's joke is that she suggested to her sister that she just get it over with and just start calling themselves the Jews. But that was on number 4th, the least funny of the bunch. On number 3 spot is Permanently Suspended by Anthony Cumia. This was also an enjoyable read. I saw the reviews on Goodreads, and I guess the reoccurring criticism they have against this book is that the anecdotes in the book were all stories that Ant had already told multiple times on air. There were a few anecdotes I didn't really know about, one being about the XFL and how Opie and Anthony were hired to be the pregame show host for this new extreme football league. I didn't even know it existed. The assault on the media, the Anthony Weiner leak, I didn't know that they were responsible for leaking those pictures. So that was interesting. But it was a very small book. The curious thing is how Anthony has told so many other anecdotes on air, which could have easily been in the book and maybe padded it a little bit more. At times, the book was brutally honest, and he kind of came off as a real piece of crap for cheating on his girlfriend so much. Although I guess in his defense, he was a celebrity, I once heard an anecdote about Johnny Knoxville having women literally come up to him at a bar and him literally just penciling them in, like making sex appointments. So can you really blame a guy? Women are literally throwing themselves at. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, that has nothing to do with the book. I really enjoyed the poetic ending that the book has, and in terms of funniness, this definitely has some good laughs and is very much on par with the next book on the second spot. So in number 2, we have Gilbert Gottfried's book, Rubberballs and Liquor. Gilbert Gottfried introduces the book Managing Expectations. He explains that he hopes the book will be as good as pizza and grape soda, something filling with a good taste. And his book definitely delivers, in my opinion. Gilbert has often mentioned how he didn't finish high school, so I reckon writing a book might be that much more difficult for him. And you can definitely tell he's trying to stretch the anecdotes for his book. The book is filled with tangents and lengthy setups. But having said that, it is one of the funniest books I've ever read. Gilbert's comedy, if you've ever seen him do one of his many spots in local news shows, in his shows, he just ad-libs and tries to stretch the joke for as long as possible, improvising the whole time. So it's no surprise that in the book, he's also trying to ad-lib and stretch the jokes. And this isn't a bad thing. I once saw him do his stand-up live, and I remember Gilbert told the crowd a joke, and it received mild laughs. He then proceeded to tell the same joke probably 14 times. And by the end, the entire room was crying with laughter. The people were falling off their chairs. It was hysterical. I noticed that a reoccurring theme of the book is self-demeaning anecdotes of people belittling his celebrity. Gilbert really emphasizes and hammers the point that he is not an A-list celebrity, and it's great and funny to hear him laugh at himself. I think the best discussions of the book, though, was Howard Stern's interview with Gilbert on his show. Howard Stern went through the trouble of actually reading the book and asking Gilbert about some of the anecdotes, and it was a riot hearing them discuss it. In terms of laughter, I found myself laughing repeatedly from this book. I read it on the subway on my way to work, and it was often the funnest part of my day. On the number 1 spot, we have Based on a True Story by Norm Macdonald. You will find endless enthusiasm for Norm Macdonald's book on the internet, and it is duly deserved. He clearly put a lot of work into his narrative. He loaded it with jokes and added some fun literary tropes. I mean, the Charles Manson character, and it tying back to the ending, the of mice and men dynamic he had with Adam Egget, the greedy cowboy gambler tone of the book, the scene in hell. It was hilarious. I mean, out of all the comedy books I've ever read, this definitely is the best one. Gilbert's book is a close second, and Cumia's book is a close third, but this is definitely the funniest of the bunch. I highly recommend it to you and yours. So that concludes my ranking of these 4 books. I also took the liberty of reading the 4 comedy books written by Woody Allen. I will make a video discussing those books soon, comparing them, discussing Woody's writing styles, and ranking them. I'll give you a preview about it. I think Woody Allen's worst comedy book, Without Feathers, ranks at the lowest spot, namely below Sarah Silverman's book. And Woody Allen's best comedy anthology, Side Effects, ranks just above Sarah Silverman's book, but below Anthony Cumia's book. Having said that, Woody Allen is an amazing writer in his own way, extremely talented, and his books just transport you to another place. You feel smarter, fancier just reading his books. Anyways, please subscribe if you want to see that video, and if nothing else, thank you for watching.